The chamber of the Galactic Council was a cathedral of steel and light, suspended above the swirling gases of Irinder 9. Holographic projections of distant star systems rotated lazily in the center, highlighting disputed territories and human-colonized sectors. At the head of the council sat High Chancellor Velcara, her tall, serpentine frame glinting under the polished lights. She drummed her clawed fingers against the armrest, her eyes narrowing as the debate unfolded. "Humans are reckless," Velcara hissed, her voice cutting like a vibroblade. "They expand without consideration, destabilizing our borders. I say we act, preemptively." A chorus of murmurs rippled through the chamber. Most members hesitated, unwilling to provoke a species whose capabilities were still poorly understood. But a few, those who had experienced human ingenuity firsthand, shifted uneasily in their seats. "The warnings from the Xylarian envoy are clear," said Ambassador Krell, his three-limbed form twitching nervously. "This species, they are unlike any we've catalogued. The Xylarians observed humans wipe out forces superior in both technology and number. Their adaptability..." Velcara snapped her tail in dismissal. "Nonsense! Humans thrive on chaos and luck, yes, but they are limited. They lack coordination on the scale of our fleets, discipline in the face of strategic superiority." "Your envoy exaggerates, Krell." "Exaggerates?" another counselor hissed, tentacles coiling. "They've already reached Terra Nova in the Andromeda sector. Reports indicate preliminary colonization is extensive. If unchecked, they will expand into council-held sectors in less than a standard galactic cycle." Velcara's eyes gleamed with icy arrogance. "Then we shall remind them of the proper order. Send in the fleet. Let them learn their place." Light years away, on the surface of Terra Nova, Commander Kale Ryan stared at the digital map projected above his command console. The colony sprawled across verdant valleys and artificial cities that gleamed under the twin suns. Kale's jaw tightened as he studied the approaching blips on the radar, hundreds of alien warships emerging from the void. "Commander, they're coming in at high speed," said Lieutenant Maravesh, her fingers dancing across the controls. "No signs of communication attempts." Kale exhaled slowly, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. "Of course not. They always skip the pleasantries." He leaned forward, his eyes cold and calculating. "Prep the defense grid. I want asteroid interceptors online, orbital turrets at max output. And scramble the Raptors." The Raptors, a squadron of human stealth fighters, were few in number but lethal in execution. Kale's mind raced through contingencies, each riskier than the last. The Council believed humans were predictable. They believed in rules. But Kale had never played by anyone's rules but his own. "Sir," Mara said, a note of concern in her voice. "Even with the Raptors, we're heavily outnumbered. The Council's fleet, they have tactical superiority." Kale's grin widened. "Then we give them a taste of unpredictability. Let's see how tactically superior they feel when their strategy crashes against human cunning." Back at the Council, Velcara's confidence was absolute. She leaned over the console, reviewing the preliminary battle plans. "This will be over before they realize it has begun. We strike fast, obliterate their defenses, and Terra Nova will fall. Then, and only then, will the humans understand their place in the galaxy." Her aide, a wiry being named Filer, hesitated. "High Chancellor, there are reports of human counterintelligence units in the sector. They've successfully repelled skirmishes with smaller fleets before." Velcara's eyes narrowed to lethal slits. "Repelled skirmishes? Filer, we are not sending skirmishers. We are sending the full armada. By the time the humans can react, they will be dust. I will not tolerate hesitation, not from my council, not from them." On Terra Nova, Kale paced the command deck. The hum of power cores and the chatter of his officers filled the air. His mind worked like a predator, each thought a calculated strike. He was not naive. He knew the Council would strike. He knew they underestimated humans. And he intended to make them regret it. "Kale," Mara said, pointing to a tactical feed. "Sensors detect a massive formation entering orbit. At this velocity, They'll be in weapons range in under 5 minutes. Kale's eyes gleamed. Then we give them a welcome they won't forget. He tapped a series of commands, activating decoy satellites, shifting orbital shields, and deploying stealth mines across predicted flight paths. Humans aren't prey, he muttered to himself. We're hunters. The first alien ship blinked into view, a black monolith slicing through space. Its weapons charged, an ominous globe bathing Terra Nova in pale light. The colony below went about its daily routine, blissfully unaware of the storm that had arrived. Kale's voice cut through the calms, sharp and fearless. All units brace. They think they're here to hunt. Let's remind them who the hunters really are. Velcara watched the holographic feed with smug satisfaction. The humans will panic. Their defenses are primitive compared to our fleet. Terra Nova will fall, and with it, humanity will be humbled. But as she gave the order to fire, a small, almost imperceptible blip appeared on the edge of the feed. A human stealth fighter had penetrated the outer perimeter, evading detection. It fired a precision strike on the alien frigate before slipping back into the void. Velcara froze, her confidence faltering for the first time. Impossible, it's only one. One fighter cannot. Kale's grin was visible across the comms feed. Never underestimate humans, Chancellor. You just learned your first lesson. The council chamber trembled, not from the ship's strike, but from the dawning realization humanity was not a species to be controlled. Humanity was a force of nature. And the hunt had only just begun. The sky above Terra Nova tore open with fire. Alien warships, sleek and black as void-forged steel, descended like a swarm of predatory insects, their weapons glinting with lethal energy. The human orbital defense grid hummed to life, a lattice of turrets and energy barriers poised to intercept the assault. Raptors in position, Lieutenant Maravesh reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. Stealth systems fully operational. Ready on your command, Commander. K.O. Ryan's eyes scanned the approaching fleet, a calculated gleam in their depths. Do it, he said. Hit them before they even realize what's coming. Let's show them humans don't wait for invitations. In a blink, the first squadron of Raptors disappeared from radar, merging seamlessly with the void. Seconds later, their first salvo erupted, striking the lead alien frigate's weapons array. The frigate shuddered violently, sparks erupting across its hull. Direct hit! Mara cheered. They didn't even see it coming! Kale allowed himself a brief smirk. Good. Let them get comfortable. Comfort kills. The aliens retaliated immediately. Massive energy beams lanced toward Terra Nova, igniting forests and vaporizing outposts in jagged streaks. Civilians screamed from below, evacuating to underground bunkers as Kale's fleet maneuvered with precision. Orbital shields holding, but just barely, reported Systems Officer Yarrick. If they focus fire on a single sector, it's over in seconds. Kale clenched his jaw. Then we give them something to worry about. Target their command ships, Yarrick. Take their leaders out first. They think they're untouchable. The Raptors darted between asteroids, using natural cover and rapid-fire bursts to cripple alien vessels. Kale's fleet, though vastly outnumbered, struck like a viper, fast, coordinated, and brutally effective. One by one, alien ships erupted into fireballs, fragments scattering across the void. Meanwhile, in the heart of the alien fleet, High Chancellor Velcara's confidence began to waver. She watched her flagships feed as smaller human craft, impossible in number and speed, tore through her armada. Report! She demanded, claws rattling against the console. The humans are using guerrilla tactics, High Chancellor. Her aide Filer stammered. They're unpredictable, and they're hitting critical systems we assumed were secure. Velcara's eyes narrowed. Impossible. We have superior coordination, superior firepower. They should be dead before they even launch a single attack. A quiet hum rose behind her. She turned, only to find the Xylarian envoy who had warned the council weeks earlier, now stationed aboard her flagship. You underestimated them, the envoy said calmly, its three-limbed body swaying. I warned you. They are not like any species you've faced. Humanity hunts. And they will not stop. Velcara hissed, her pride wounded. Your warnings are irrelevant. They are mere insects. Kale Ryan and his fleet are insignificant. This is under control. The envoy's gaze hardened. Insects that bite back can destroy empires. Back on Terra Nova, Kale issued his next command. Activate the asteroid ambush grid. Lure their cruisers into the belt. Mara's eyes widened. You mean, fly them straight into the asteroid field? That's exactly what I mean. Kale cut her off, voice sharp and confident. They're counting on precision and formation. Precision dies in chaos. Formation dies in chaos. Let's test them. The alien cruisers, arrogant and fast, pursued the Raptors into the jagged asteroid belt. What they didn't anticipate was the web of hidden mines, automated turrets, and stealth fighters waiting in ambush. The first alien ship collided with a massive stealth mine, exploding in a storm of fire and debris. Another miscalculated its trajectory, smashing into an asteroid. Panic rippled through the fleet as Kale's Raptor struck from every angle, tearing through engines and weapons systems with surgical precision. The first shockwave of the battle hit the surface. Energy beams from the aliens still reached the planet, igniting fires and sending tremors through the colonies. Kale's eyes never left the main tactical feed. Hold your ground, he ordered. Remember, humans fight smarter, not just harder. Focus fire, take calculated risks, and keep moving. Let's make every shot count. Amid the chaos, Kale's voice came over the comms to the enemy fleet, a bold, mocking declaration. You thought this would be easy, Velcara. You thought humans were weak. Watch carefully, we don't just survive, we hunt. And the hunt has just begun. The alien flagship trembled as the first Raptors executed a daring strike through its hull. Explosions tore through the decks, causing critical failures across command systems. Velcara's fury turned to disbelief. How is this possible? She whispered. Her fingers flew across the console, trying to regain control, but every move Kale anticipated, every maneuver a step ahead. In the void above Terra Nova, the battle raged with relentless intensity. Alien ships fell one by one, caught in traps or targeted by precision strikes from a fleet that was faster, smarter, and more ruthless than Velcara had imagined. Kale surveyed the chaos with grim satisfaction. His crew was exhausted, but alive. His civilians were protected underground. The Council thought they could extinguish humanity before it even had a chance to fight back. Instead, they were witnessing the first lesson. Humans never wait to be cornered. They strike, and they strike with brutal efficiency. As the chapter drew to a close, Kale leaned back in his command chair, eyes on the burning horizon of enemy wreckage. They'll remember this, he muttered, voice low and deadly. They'll remember what happens when they try to hunt humans. And somewhere in the distant void, High Chancellor Velcara realized that the arrogance of the Council had just sparked a war they were not prepared to win. The surface of Terra Nova was scarred. Cities that had gleamed under twin suns now bore the smoldering marks of alien fire. Yet, amidst the devastation, humanity endured. Evacuation corridors hummed with activity, civilians led by robotic escorts to hidden bunkers, while Kale Ryan stood on the bridge of Vigilant, the flagship of his fleet, eyes locked on the glowing dots of enemy vessels above. They think we're cornered, Kale murmured, tracing patterns on the tactical map. But there's no corner humans can't turn into a trap. Lieutenant Mara Vesh leaned over his shoulder, watching as the alien fleet shifted, attempting to regroup. Commander, their numbers are overwhelming. Even with ambush tactics, they're still in control of orbital superiority. How do we turn this? Kale's smirk was sharp, predatory. By making them chase shadows. By hunting the hunters. They'll learn soon enough that a human doesn't just defend, they strike when they're ready. Kale convened his lieutenants for a high-stakes strategy session. Hollow maps floated above the center table, marking the positions of alien command ships, cruiser clusters, and the unstable asteroid belts nearby. We're going to bait them into the asteroid belt, Kale explained, pointing at a narrow corridor. Their fleet is bigger, yes, but less agile. Their command ships won't survive a close-quarters environment. We'll hit them where they think they're safe, where their numbers don't matter. Mara frowned. That's risky. If they detect us first, the ambush fails, and we lose everything. Cale leaned forward, intensity burning in his gaze. Risk is the point. Predictability is their strength. Chaos is ours. And if we succeed, we don't just survive, we dominate. Yarrick, systems officer, hesitated. Commander, we've received a transmission. It's from the Xylarian envoy that warned the Council. Cale's brow arched. On screen. The envoy appeared, three-limbed and calm, its deep voice resonating across the bridge. I see you've survived the initial strike, it said. I have information about the Council's fleet movements. Their command protocols are centralized. Disable the command ships, and the rest will falter. I can guide you, but you must act decisively. Cale's grin widened. Finally, some cooperation. Thank you, friend. Let's make sure your warning wasn't wasted on Velcara. The fleet moved, each human ship slipping like a shadow through the void. Their decoys distracted the alien sensors, forcing Velcara to commit her cruisers in predictable patterns. Cale's raptors darted through gaps in the formation, lancing precision strikes into engines and communication arrays. Velcara, watching her fleet falter, slammed her claws against the console. Impossible! They're faster, smarter. How can this be? The envoy's voice echoed in her chamber. They are humans, High Chancellor. You cannot outthink instinct. You cannot outfight determination. And now they hunt. Cale's plan unfolded with deadly elegance. Alien cruisers followed the Raptors into the asteroid belt, each maneuver carefully manipulated. Hidden mines detonated as ships passed, orbital turrets emerged from stealth platforms, and human fighters exploited every weakness. Every alien ship that entered the corridor found itself crippled before it could react. Sector 3's clear, Mara reported, voice taut with focus. Command ship cluster is in position. Cale leaned over, plotting the strike. This is it. We hit the heart. No mercy, no hesitation. Once they see their leaders fall, the rest will scatter, or die trying. The first wave of human assault tore through the alien command cluster. Explosions blossomed like dark flowers across the flagship's hull. Alien officers scrambled in panic, their communications jammed, their systems failing one by one. Velcara's calm facade shattered, replaced by the first glimmer of fear. Cale Ryan, she hissed. This is not over. Cale's voice cut over comms, smooth and unyielding. Oh, it's just beginning, Chancellor. And remember, humans don't just fight back. We hunt. As the battle intensified, Cale coordinated multiple ambushes, striking the alien fleet from unpredictable angles. Each attack forced the aliens to split their forces, weakening formations that had once been near impenetrable. Even amidst the chaos, Cale maintained strict discipline. No reckless moves, he barked. Every shot, every maneuver must count. We survive because we're smart. We dominate because we're fearless. In a dark corner of the asteroid belt, the Xylarian envoy guided Cale through hidden routes, showing weak points in alien shields and revealing command redundancies. Using this intel, Cale's team executed surgical strikes on secondary command ships, sending ripples of confusion through the alien fleet. Velcara's fleet faltered. Her once perfect coordination now crumbled under the human assault. Panic and indecision spread like wildfire, as smaller ships were either destroyed or abandoned their formation entirely. Cale's grin widened across the comms feed. You thought you could hunt us, he said. You were wrong. Humans are not prey. Humans are hunters. And we never forget a target. By the end of the engagement, the human fleet had inflicted catastrophic damage. Alien cruisers were drifting dead in space, command systems were in chaos, and Velcara herself was forced into a retreat, signaling her fleet to withdraw in order to regroup. Cale allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction, eyes sweeping across the tactical display. The cost had been high, but the lesson had been delivered. They'll remember this, he said quietly. The Council will remember that humans are not just survivors. We are hunters. And we don't forgive mistakes. Mara exhaled, tension finally easing. We did it, Commander. We actually did it. Kale's smirk returned, predatory and unshakable. No. We just started. They think retreat is safety. They'll learn soon enough, the hunt never ends. The stars beyond the asteroid belt glittered like silent witnesses to humanity's defiance. And in the void, one truth burned brighter than any supernova: humans fight back, and when cornered, they strike harder than anything the galaxy has ever seen. The void above Terra Nova was alive with destruction. Alien warships limped through space, crippled by ambushes, their engines sputtering and hulls ablaze. Commander Kale Ryan stood on the bridge of Vigilant, his hands gripping the console as he surveyed the battlefield. Every blip, every explosion, every trajectory was accounted for. They think they're retreating, Kale muttered, eyes cold and calculating. But you can't run from humans. Not ever. Lieutenant Mara Vesh leaned forward, tension etched across her face. Commander, they still have reinforcements en route. Their capital ships are retreating, but not for long. If we overextend, we... Kale cut her off with a sharp glance. We don't overextend. We hunt. They'll pay for every miscalculation, every underestimation. Let's finish this. Kale's plan was audacious: strike at the alien fleet's retreating command corps. Using the Xylarian envoy's intel, he identified the weakest points in the flagship's shields, and with surgical precision, plotted a coordinated strike with the remaining Raptors. Raptors, this is it! Kale's voice echoed over comms, sharp and fearless. Hit them fast, hit them hard, and remember, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Stealth fighters emerged from asteroid cover, moving like shadows, weaving between debris and fire. The alien flagship's shields flickered as human missiles punched through weak points. The first salvo exploded against the hull, igniting a chain reaction that sent smaller ships tumbling into chaos. High Chancellor Velcara watched from the bridge of her crippled flagship, disbelief etched across her serpentine features. How are they doing this? Her aide, Filar, stammered. High Chancellor, their coordination, their precision, it's unmatched. Every attack anticipates our response. Velcara hissed, fury and fear coiling together. Impossible! They should be disorganized, weak, cornered, yet they strike like predators. Send reinforcements. Do not let them reach the core. Kale's voice cut through the alien comms, mocking and deadly. Reinforcements won't help you, Velcara. You thought humans were prey. You were wrong. We hunt. And tonight you're on the menu. The human fleet pressed the advantage. Kale directed orbital turrets to focus fire on the alien cruisers, while Raptors executed hit-and-run strikes against weakened engines and weapon arrays. Every move was precise, every strike coordinated like a predator closing in on its prey. The alien formation crumbled. Command ships lost cohesion as smaller vessels were destroyed or abandoned. Panic rippled through the fleet. Velcara's once pristine tactics were now useless in the chaos. Kale had one final, bold maneuver. Vigilant accelerated, cutting through space at impossible speed, carrying a payload of precision explosives directly toward the alien flagship. Yarrick, calculate trajectory, Kale barked. I want that ship dead before Velcara can even scream. The calculations completed. Mara engaged the stealth systems, making Vigilant almost invisible against the backdrop of stars. Kale's hand hovered over the release sequence. This was the moment, all or nothing. Commander, Mara said, voice tight. Once we commit, there's no turning back. Kale's eyes gleamed. I didn't come this far to turn back. Humanity survives by striking first, and striking true. He pressed the sequence. Explosions blossomed along the alien flagship, tearing through its hull, crippling engines, and detonating weapon systems. The flagship shuddered violently, its shields flickering and failing. Velcara realized the inevitability of defeat. Her fleet, shattered and broken, had no choice but to retreat. The remnants of the alien armada limped away from Terra Nova, leaving devastation in their wake. You cannot! Velcara gasped, disbelief and fury coiling together. Humans, this cannot be! Kale's voice resonated over the comms, calm, precise, and merciless. It's exactly as I said, Chancellor. You underestimated humans. And you paid the price. We survive. We hunt. And we always remember. On Terra Nova, Kale surveyed the planet below. Fires burned in isolated sectors, but the colonies were intact. Civilians emerged from shelters, looking to the sky, witnessing the human fleet standing victorious against impossible odds. Mara exhaled, finally allowing herself relief. We did it. They're gone. Kale's gaze lingered on the stars, unyielding. Gone for now. But this is a lesson the galaxy will never forget. Humans are not to be cornered. Humans are not prey. We hunt. And when we hunt, we finish the job. Yarrick, wiping soot from his console, chuckled darkly. They'll tell stories about this for generations. No fleet, no council, nothing will underestimate humans again. Kale's smirk returned, predatory and confident. Good. Let them remember. Let them fear. Because humanity doesn't just survive. Humanity thrives. Humanity hunts. The Xylarian envoy appeared beside him on the bridge, nodding solemnly. You have done more than survive, Commander. You have proven to the galaxy that humans are a force to be reckoned with. Velcara will remember this humiliation forever. Kale's eyes glimmered with resolve. Let her. And anyone else who thinks they can challenge us. Humanity isn't just strong. We're relentless. We're clever. And above all... He paused, letting the words linger in the silence of space. We never forget a hunt. As the stars shimmered beyond Terra Nova, the human fleet regrouped, battle-worn but unbroken. And in the dark expanse of the galaxy, a message echoed: the era of underestimating humanity was over. The hunters had risen.